haven't really had a chance to dive deep into this situation that's been going on the past 2.5 weeks to 3 weeks with, agent and industry plant, Curtis 50 Cent Jackson. At the end of the day, he is everything his name is. I mean, his name is 50 Cent. All you got to do is put a dot in between, the zero, and you have 50. At the end of the day, 50 Cent and his fanboys are fun boys, and his fangirls are just laughable. And it's clear that these people don't know nothing about the streets, but they try to talk about streets. And that's what makes it so funny. You get these people that be trying to act like they just know so much about street life and how the street works, when they ain't probably never stood on a block, ain't never cooked up and broke down any work, ain't never dropped off no work, ain't never carried no work, ain't never had a dirty weapon, ain't never did nothing street oriented. But they trying to act like they know so much about the streets. The funny thing is, people celebrating the behavior of 50 Cent, who continues on a regular basis to show his female tendencies, and the hypocrisy of him. My thing is with 50 Cent, look at his history. This man has fell out with everybody at one point or another. Whether it got corrected, semi-corrected, this dude has fell out with everybody, even people that should be closest to him. He can't get along with his kids. At the end of the day, some people will say, well, his kid did this, his kid did that. Well, at the end of the day, it's your job to make sure that the mother don't poison the kids against you. Hey, it happened to me. It happened to me where I felt like people was trying to poison my son and try to turn him against me. And to a certain degree, it wasn't even his mother. It was other people, because they had internal issues going on with their kids, but then they wanted to bring that misery on to my son. So once 50 Cent showed some private phone calls, which was supposed to be private, and he posted it. He posted some private phone calls. That further showed what type of dude he is. And you guys don't think that 50 Cent is an informant? He worked with the police. He has former police and, federal agents working with him. So how does that not implicate him as a rat himself? You do know the government have paid informants, right? And my thing is, all he does is troll and kick a lot of black people when they down. He didn't get at Madonna when Madonna said that he need to grow up. He didn't really go in on her because he know better than to go in on, on a white woman. But like I said, he can go back and forth with black people. He controlled Floyd. He controlled Rick Ross. He control anybody that's black. Does next to nothing when it pertains to doing something that's really important for the people, for the race. Now, before somebody come on here talking about, oh well, he made Little Meech $5 million. Was that before or after taxes? Because in that tax bracket, they take a lot out. Now, and then another thing, well, if he made him $5 million, how much did he make? How much did he make Stars? Keep in mind, he was signed to a record label. It's the same scenario as with, TLC. Selling 10 million records. They sold 10 million records. And by the time everything was said and done, taxes, lawyer fees, agents, all that kind of stuff, they got like $8,000 a piece. There's no way they didn't make that record label money. There's no way that record label didn't profit off, at the time, CDs were like, I mean, when Left Eye did the math, and it was probably more than that. They talking about they sold like 10 million CDs. And at the time, they still had cassette tapes. So what about all the cassette tapes that they sold? So for people to keep talking about loyalty, who is 50 Cent loyal to? And you got to ask this question: how come he can't get along with nobody? He fell out with the game. He fell out with Young Buck. And before somebody come on here talking about what Young Buck is alleged or what he does or what he's into, what do that have to do with him and 50 Cent not getting along, or him and 50 Cent always falling out? And the funny thing is, this dude tries to, basically post like something on X talking about he did this, he did that, but at the same time, you have them featured on your show. You always have some kind of alternative lifestyle character. You can't sit up there and shame Buck for it, but then you feature that on your TV shows. Can't have it both ways, Curtis. And that's the problem. That is the problem that nobody wants to point out. While people sit up here gobbling and have 50 Cent nutsack in their mouth, they don't really want to point that out. And all you do is hear people try to make excuses. What loyalty? As far as Big Meech go, how you gonna tell a grown man, a grown 50-year-old man, who he can take pictures with or who he can talk to, like you his daddy or something? At the end of the day, 50 Cent sounds to me he did what most of these people in the industry do: exploit black people. Let's be honest. Do 50 Cent really put out productive product? Do he put out productive stuff that feature black people in a positive light? Not really. He put out the same stuff that you always see how black people are presented: drugs, guns, violence, etc., etc. What does he really put out that's productive and represents black people in a positive light? I'll wait. Time's up. What is power about? What is the premise of power? Drug dealer. What is the premise of, BMF? Drug dealing, drug dealers. So, when is somebody gonna tell the truth about this dude? When is people gonna get off this dude's nutsack and keep it a buck with this dude and see what a lame that he is? I would look at a dude funny who got that buck. At the end of the day, y'all don't know nothing about the streets. And at the end of the day, 50 Cent helped his son. And that's just real talk. I would look at somebody crazy. So because he took a picture with somebody you had issues with, and it's a question of how the beef started, because you would make an argument that Curtis was the one that started the beef, just like he started beefs with everybody else for the most part, because that's what he's set to do. That's what an industry plant does. That's what an agent of chaos does. Cause causes chaos, distinction, tension, animosity, hatred. And this has been proven that the government has purposely targeted black people using other black people. So that's all this dude does. So now all of a sudden he got Big Meech paperwork. Once again, you're supposed to bring up this lady that was sort of like a middle person. But at the end of the day, you knew this information, and once again, you want to put out a documentary about it. See how I'm exposing this dude for basically, for who he is? You started to see this switch with a lot of people trying to justify working with the police or quote-unquote snitching. Keep in mind, 50 Cent was the intended target when he got shot. He got shot for some reason. He got shot for some reason. He did something to get shot because he was the intended target. And keep in mind, it's funny how he always have his head up Eminem's at the end of the day, he Eminem's bitch. And he been getting used by Eminem. The real reason why Eminem signed and put 50 Cent on is basically to cover up his tracks when those racist ass tapes came out, where he was saying all this stuff about black people and in particularly black women. So he used 50 Cent at the smoke screen. And probably behind the scenes, they got some secret deal that he always got to defend him and talk and speak highly of him. That's why a lot of times when somebody have an issue with Eminem, he always acts as if he's the spokesperson, where Eminem doesn't even personally respond. Because I think that's some behind the deals. I think that's some behind the scenes shit. Because I know how. Listen, I know how the industry works. So you're fighting a losing battle trying to argue with me about how this stuff works. They have deals that they make known to the public, and then they have behind the scenes deals, the clause. Because the way this man come out and defend Eminem is it's kind of disturbing, especially when he basically defended those text messages that Eminem sent him talking about he coming into town to ride his D. And he really didn't explain what was up with that, because that's weird. That was weird. But then here it is, 50 Cent, he got something to say about everybody else's sexuality. So I just find that weird. I mean, somebody got to say it. I'm not like these other dudes. And it's not just him. But you didn't see this whole thing about snitching and I can produce the dude's paperwork and all this kind of stuff. Because Whack 100, he famous for that, talking about he got paperwork, he got video, he got videos. I'm like, okay, but where's this video that you've been talking about that's supposed to free and vindicate Tory Lanez that you've been talking about? Oh, and when people see it. Well, where is it? We've been waiting to see it. That nigga Whack is an industry plant too. Worst kind too. And he literally tried to justify working with that snitch Mexican that told on all them people that put him on, made him some money, that tried to give him a persona. But then that's what happens when you work with, saying people that don't look like you. But it can happen to you when you work with people that look like you. So when I hear these people sitting up here talking about that they got somebody's paperwork, this dude is a rat, that dude is a rat, and then you need to further define what a rat is. A rat really is a dude that really gives information on a particular person. For the most part. And the funny thing is, people keep saying 50 Cent ain't no rat, but this dude is on audio snitching dry snitching, flat out snitching, whatever you want to call it, on Murder Inc. when he said that Murder Inc. got started with drug money, laundered money. That's not snitching? That's not snitching? And I don't want to hear this stuff about, well, Herb Gotti has something to do with him getting. Once again, he did something to get shot there, throwing out innuendos. He been sitting up throwing out innuendos about Herb Gotti. Do I need to find the audio and post it? You've been hearing about restraining orders, him getting restraining orders. But then his groupie, oh, that's not true, that's not true. Listen, I'm going to say this again. He didn't, if Meech is a rat, if he's an informant, Agent Curtis already knew. And basically, to me, he was saving this information for a rainy day, or he was going to put it out anyway. So he basically was going to eventually throw Meech under the bus, because that's what this nigga Curtis does. That's what he was going to do. There's no way you didn't know, or you discovered recently this stuff about, I'm driving, so I gotta look at the road and talk at the same time. So it's no way you didn't know this stuff about Meech, or allegedly Meech, existed. And at the end of the day, this technology, this AI stuff, that kind of stuff can be doctored. You can make documents off AI. You can sit up here and use a computer. You can make it look like, I'm talking about, you can do the stuff to the T. I'm talking about, you can make stuff look like something is like paperwork, look like it's 50 years old, because they have the technology now. So what's to say that the paperwork ain't doctored? What makes, because he swear to God that so-called restraining order stuff ain't real, but then his groupie fans believe it. His nut gobbling fans believe it. The dude ain't a good dude. He's not. This dude is the same age as me, pretty much. This dude is gonna be 50 years old in July. And he set a bad example on how black men are supposed to conduct themselves. He sit up here and set a bad example for the youth. That's why you got a lot of these goofy ass, bitch ass young niggas running around here who show their female tendencies. I just think that's crazy to sit up there and get an attitude, basically pull the carpet from under somebody because of what somebody else did. And to sit up there and be so territorial over another dude, that's kind of weird. And that's why I fell out with certain people that was part of a certain group. And I don't want to make it look like that I'm trying to like start something and all, but I gotta tell the truth. You had dudes that really was trying to tell you who you could root for. And it just reminded me, like when I think about this, you actually had grown men getting an attitude because somebody support somebody else. And because they root for their guy, and they want you to root for their guy as well as not root for the other dude, when you could have easily rooted for both of them. But it's like, no, you got to root for this guy. And as I said before, ain't no grown man gonna tell me who I can support. Ain't no grown man gonna tell me who I can affiliate myself with, because at the end of the day, I'm a grown man. I was a grown 40-something-year-old man. I'm 50 now, but how you gonna tell me who I can talk to? You know? I'm not finna tell a grown man who he can talk to and who you know what I'm saying? This ain't no gang. 50 Cent ain't in no game. This ain't no, you know what I'm saying, real talk. You being territorial over another dude. Weird, man. Weird. Just like when and then, like I said, 50 Cent over the years to show people what a bitch he is. This is the same dude that was talking all this stuff about Floyd, and then y'all know I ain't the biggest Floyd fan in the world. I respect Floyd, what he did as a boxer. I respect what he did as a boxer. Gotta respect that. But as a person, don't think much of Floyd. But he was constantly trolling Floyd. And he got an attitude with Floyd because he wanted Floyd to leave Al Heyman and start a promotional company. And, you know, Floyd showed his loyalty to Al Heyman. And, you know, when 50 Cent didn't get his way, that's when him and Floyd fell out. And then he trolled Floyd for years. He pretty much called Floyd stupid. He said Floyd couldn't read. And then it got to the point to where, and this is further, you know, showing you what type of trick baby that 50 Cent is. Floyd had got to the point to where he was like, all right, bro, I'm tired of you talking about me. Let's get in the ring. Let's have an actual fight. Curtis accepted, but less than a day, he backed out of it. He backed out of it. Came up with the excuse to back out of the fight. I say, okay, he's a mark. He's a mark. At the end of the day, I would have respected you if you would have said, okay, well, we could go through with it. We go through with it, but we all know Floyd would have beat 50 Cent's ass. And 50 Cent couldn't handle that embarrassment. He couldn't handle that embarrassment of getting beat up by Floyd, because he would have got beat up. If they was in the actual boxing ring, Floyd would have beat him up, would have beat him down. So that showed me you ain't who you say you is. You ain't that tough. And like I said before, 50 Cent don't really speak out against law enforcement. You know why? Because they on his payroll and he worked with them. And he probably on their payroll as well. I mean, Cat Williams explained to you to a certain degree what a plant is. 50 Cent been a plant. He been a plant. I mean, somebody got to say it. He been a plant. You heard dudes like Lil Boosie saying, you know, when they, you know, I guess did performances or did shows with 50 Cent, a whole bunch of feds came in and checked out the, you know, the scenery, make sure everything was copacetic. Okay to have security, that's fine. And that's a, you know, I'm idolizing this clown, this informant, this industry player, this rat himself. I can't help it if I'm one of the very few people that'll tell the truth about this dude. Sometimes I can overlook some stuff, but the way this dude get down, I know this dude is an informant. I know he's a plant. He don't say nothing about the white folks. Just like he was sitting up there, you know, trying to side with Drake and this whole thing with Kendrick Lamar. He sat up there going on the Brilliant Idiots or whatever that show is with that unfunny ass Andrew Schultz. Andrew Schultz is a lousy comedian. He ain't funny at all. Now I would really go in on you know, on Schultz, because he a culture vulture too, and a lame. He sat up there talking about all that weirdo stuff that he said he'll do to Kendrick Lamar, which he would, which he wouldn't. But then, this is the same 50 Cent that always tries to make fun of black people, and particularly with that kind of stuff. But he sat up there chopping it up with Andrew Schultz, like the agent that he really is, spoken like a true agent, spoken like a true informant. I've been meaning to talk about this, but it was just to the point, I was like, okay, let me like peep this out, how this is going. I can tell you this much. I know how the streets work, because I came from that environment, and I know people that's part of that environment, still part of that environment. I can tell you right now, I've never ratted on anybody in my life, ever gave up anybody's name. But it got to the point to where you had these dudes, because of the internet, because that's why people are called influencers now, because they can get you to believe their ideology. So you started to see it. When you started seeing dudes like Whack 100 trying to justify working with that rat Mexican, and you know who I'm talking about, the Skittles dude, trying to say he was a civilian. That dude wasn't no civilian, because he was in the thick of things. This dude allegedly was trying to put you know what I'm saying, some cash on somebody. He was making songs about he affiliated with the Bloods. Nah, man. Nah. If you do, no, man. Ain't nobody trying to hear that stuff that he was a civilian. No, you just wanted to try to justify working with that dude. So that's why dudes like Whack 100 go around calling everybody else a rat, because he worked with a rat. And he tried to justify it. So guess what? What do that make him? What does that make him? I'm just saying. And that's the point that I'm trying to make about Agent Jackson. That's what the dude is. And then the thing is, you goofy young niggas sit up here and be trying to like I mean, for real, you try to justify that man's action. And that's why, in particularly, this newer generation of black men from 21 to 39 is the least it is the least respected group. But then again, that was by design too, to weaken black men. That's why you have a lot of these black dudes, and particularly some of these boxers, sitting up here trying to give Tiafimo a pass for saying all that racist shit. Or Ryan Garcia. But at the same time, these dudes more mad at another dude for basically who got cheated, and they trying to shame him. That's what they do. A lot of times, to take down your enemy, you send an infiltrator in. You send somebody in that look just like your enemy, especially if you don't look like them, because you're gonna stick out like a sore thumb. So it's easier when you have somebody that look like the people your intended target. That's just real talk. That's just real spiel. So that's why they send dudes like 50 Cent and a few other people. Because I mean, for real, 50 Cent ain't no different from Bill O'Neal. 50 Cent is a hip hop Bill O'Neal. And if you don't know who Bill O'Neal is the lousy nigga that set up Fred Hampton. That set him up to his demise. But to a certain degree, that's why he, That's why he went out the way he did when he got smashed by a car. Ultimate betrayal. I mean, come on now. Somebody's got to say this about this dude. Might as well be me. So 50 Cent ain't no better than the people that he's basically trying to throw under the bus. He been doing this stuff. Y'all don't see the hypocrisy in 50 Cent? You have to ask yourself, why does dude always fall out with everybody? It get to the point to where you just got to be like, damn. You know, it's the same situation that you see a lot of times with these black women, these delusional black women who use every excuse in the book on why they can't keep a man, find a man, or you know, whatever the case, or get married. They will say it's everybody else except them. After a while, you have to say, and you have to come to the conclusion that you the problem. Same thing with Amanda Seales. I've never seen anybody like Amanda Seales who can't get along with anybody. She can't get along with anybody. She falls out with everybody. So after a while, if you just constantly keep getting into it with everybody, having a fallout with everybody, and always talking about, oh, this person did that, that person did this. After a while, when it keeps happening and you a repeat offender, you got to start looking at yourself. And I don't know why people see this stuff. And then the funny thing is, if you want to get technical about the whole Rick Ross thing, technically Rick Ross has more money than 50 Cent according to reports. According to reports, Rick Ross is worth in between 150 to 200 million dollars. 50 Cent is worth, according to reports, between 40 and 60 million dollars. Now, the issue that I had with Rick Ross, the rapper, you took another man's persona and you turned it into millions of dollars. You took the whole man's persona and you didn't ship the dude off. And I'm gonna always have an issue with William, aka the fake Rick Ross. You took that whole man's persona. So for people that think I'm just capping for Rick Ross and all that kind of stuff, nah, because that was messed up what he did. You took a whole man's persona, became a rapper, and you made millions. You made over $100 million taking on the persona of another dude. But at the end of the day, you don't even want to give the dude nothing. That's weak sauce. So for the people that think that I'm protecting him and I'm caping for Rick Ross, the rapper, the artist, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I'm real with this. You know, that's one thing about me. I know how to break this down because I want it to be as transparent as possible. 50 Cent is a habitual line stepper. He's a habitual gaslighter. He is a habitual agent of chaos. He's sitting up implying that other people is a rat. You a rat. You a rat. You a plant. You an agent. You work with the government. And you probably getting paid to do it. So I'm just keeping it a buck. This needed to be said about Curtis. This needed to get said about him and the fanboys and fangirls that like try to justify his childish behavior. After a while, you got to grow out of that stuff. You got to set an example for the youth, for these youngsters. I ain't the most perfect person in the world. I'll make mistakes, still make mistakes, but I still try to carry myself in a better light than what Curtis does. But when you 50 years old and you acted like a 20-year-old, you part of the problem. And somebody just need to call this out. And Jay Hood was pinpoint accurate on what he said about Agent Jackson. Pinpoint. Yeah, I'm on IG. Yeah, my IG is the same. My IG is the same as my my name on YouTube. Yeah, I'm on IG. I'm not on the other thing. I'm not on X, and I'm not on what's the other one? TikTok or Snapchat. I'm not on none of those. So if somebody saying this is the official Town Biz X, is fake. I am only on YouTube and Instagram. So there you have it. But yeah, this needed to get said. When I hear people like trying to justify 50 Cent behavior, I just shake my head, and it just goes to show me how silly these dudes are. Just goes to show you how silly these women is. And this is why I don't take none of them serious. These are the same women that say they want an alpha male, they want a man that conduct himself like a man, but they sit up there and justify 50 Cent's petty, female behavior. You took a picture with Rick Ross. I'm canceling BMF. And like I said, you put up private text messages for people to see. Real talk. Then you sitting up here gloating. I'm gonna say this once again. Whatever going on with Diddy is disappointing, and I hope he didn't do the stuff that he's accused of doing. But if he did, then it is what it is. But I'm not gonna sit up here gloating like how 50 Cent been doing, because I'm pretty sure that somebody got some kind of dirt on 50 Cent that's gonna get released. I doubt very seriously if 50 Cent has a squeaky clean image. Of course he doesn't. Like I said before, 50 Cent been Eminem's bitch for the last 20 years, pretty much. I think it's been 21 years since Get Rich or Die Trying came out. Keep in mind, he got blackballed by the industry when he was finna come out the first time, because nobody didn't want to sign him because he had a questionable reputation. And like I said before, Eminem put him out because at the time, Eminem went and grabbed him and put him out and put him on, because he had to save face, which he been riding high off that high. That's how 50 Cent and Eminem help each other. Because I think they got some kind of contract that they don't want people to know about. Because Suge Knight talking about he have all these secret contracts. Suge Knight talking big stuff. He basically going in on Dr. Dre, going in on Ray J. But at the end of the day, how true it is, it's always a question mark, because we know this internet thing can be very lucrative. If you make if you go all in. So we know that. In the same face, when Benzino, The Source, and then Suge Knight got hold of those demo tapes where Eminem was saying all that racist stuff. And at the end of the day, that's why Eminem started trying to put out all these. Well, actually, he really didn't put nobody out, really, with the exception of 50 Cent and D12. And he was part of D12. And what made it funny, some of the D12 dudes out at Eminem, when they said basically when they was doing the D12 albums, since Eminem was like the executive producer, that Eminem was taking off verses that he thought might have been better than his. And this came from the D12 members. So that's why Eminem aligned himself and started doing songs with some of these people like Tech Nine and all the people. You have to cover up your tracks. You have to fool people with illusion, like magic. Okay, people think I'm a racist. All right, so I'm gonna start putting out or doing songs with a lot of these different artists, and I'm gonna cover up my tracks so people will defend. Because black people love defending their, black people have a slave mentality where they love defending their zaddy. That's not me. I'm not built like that. So I'm breaking all this down. Take notes. Real talk. Take notes. And I made this as transparent as possible so people could have an understanding of what's going on with Agent Jackson. 50 Cent is a lame. He been a lame. And he a cornball. He a emotional. When I say he's a emotional 50-year-old bitch boy. You took pictures with Rick Ross. I'm canceling the show. And I'm going to say this again. You talking about you made somebody $5 million probably before taxes. Probably after taxes and everything, it probably was barely $2 million. And then for 50 Cent to basically try to come in between, and that just goes to show you what a mark he is. To basically try to come in between the dude and his father. At the end of the day, you put him in the acting classes, okay, fine. But at the same time, it's not like you didn't benefit from it. Let's not try to make it look like 50 Cent did this out of the kindness of his heart. That's how stupid a lot of y'all are. And then y'all sitting up talking about loyalty. Some of you niggas and some of you bitches need to shut up. Y'all got some nerve talking about loyalty when a lot of y'all don't even know who y'all biological kids' fathers is. Okay? Real talk. And some of you dudes out here will steal from your brother, your mother. Y'all the same niggas that borrow money and don't pay it back, even when you have the means to pay it back. Y'all the same ones that'll sit up here and talk about support black businesses, but you don't buy black. One thing about me, I've shown that I support black businesses. Loyalty? Ha! Y'all talking about loyalty? Some of you niggas and some of you hoes out here? Please. Y'all talking about loyalty, but you the same dude that'll sleep with your boy's wife. You see what's good? You see what Steve Smith was doing? Even though he didn't really know the dude, but at the end of the day, he's sitting up sleeping with a married woman and then going up in her raw. And then going back home to his wife. You know how trifling that is? To sit up there and sleeping with somebody. At the end of the day, dude's gonna be dude. But I'm saying, damn, dude, you could at least strap it up. Cause what if you caught a bad one? Now you go home to your wife and then, you catch on, both of y'all catch on fire, or even worse. Then what? So that's what I'm saying. So don't come on here talking about loyalty. Y'all need to shut y'all asses up. You dudes steal from your father, you steal from your mother. Yeah, like for real. I don't want to hear that stuff about loyalty. Y'all the same dudes that'll stab another dude in the back for some pussy. So you can save that. But anyway, I just wanted to put that out there. I just said enough. But once again, Agent Jackson is a plant. Okay? And I ain't talking about flowers. It's your boy Tam. I'm out.